Thank you to Cade Silvermoon for their generous donation on Patreon. Hello everyone, my name is Deckerlink, the trained unprofessional, and welcome to Echo. From the hood of the truck, little rivers of blood splay out from the duck's chest, dripping down the front of the grill. Its eyes are still open even though it's dead. I always thought when something died, your eyes closed and your tongue sticks out. It looks like staring at me. Dad didn't respond, but he finally looks up and sees what I'm seeing. He sucks in his chest as if he'd been struck. He shuts his eyes again. His whole body shakes for a moment like he's having a spaz attack. I don't want to watch this. I'm about to turn and walk away when I see something move in the back of the van. Just for a split second, but I swear I see a face through the dusty glass. Son, Dad repeats himself. Dad, again, there's a flash of fur like something's bouncing up. Dad, there's someone in the van. Dad says nothing. He won't even look now. There's someone in there, I know it. I wipe my eyes with my sleeves, clenching my fist and stepping closer to the rear window. I smear away the dust from the glass and press my tip of my muzzle against the window. Nothing. What the hell? When I step back, Dad's up on his feet again. He didn't look angry anymore. Just sad, or empty, I guess. He picks up his rifle from the ground, holding it sort of limply with one paw. Without a word, he turns and heads back through the clearing from whence we came. I stand there for a while, listening to his steps trail off. My gut begins to feel like it's being twisted into a knot. Why didn't he say anything? He always says something. Any other time he opens his mouth, I practically flinch, so why do I feel like this now? He won't actually leave me out here, will he? I cross my arms over my chest, hugging myself. Minutes pass and nothing happens. It's like I'm rooted in place, constantly wiping my eyes and nose. Just gotta be tough. I mean, I am tough. I just don't know what to do. What the hell am I supposed to do? I hate this! Why did I have to say all that? Nothing will ever be the same again! Even if I get to go home, my parents will just ship me off to live with my uncle in the compound. You know what? Maybe that'll be fine. At least then my parents couldn't threaten me with that anymore. Maybe I'll even like making airplane parts. I don't need video games, TV, or my friends. And that'll be fine, because at least I won't be around them, especially Dad. Still no footsteps. I would hear if he started up the truck from here, I think. Guess he hasn't left yet. Maybe I should start a fire or something. I never could get one going on my own in the past, but that's probably because I wasn't trying very hard. I look around and start gathering any twigs or dry grass I can find. Everything is still kind of damp, though that shouldn't matter as long as I rub hard enough. Flynn would probably make a joke about that, or at least show me what the heck I'm supposed to do. Flynn is the outdoorsy one of the groups, who knows how all this survival stuff by heart, which is weird because he's gay and all. He's like the least gay acting guy ever. What the fuck did that say? He's the least gay acting gay guy ever. There we go. I remember once he told me that liking girls is too girly for him. I guess that makes sense. He's not like the kind you see in movies and how my parents describe them. I sigh, sitting down and splaying out a little bed of dry grass and twigs with a single coarse stone in the middle. After that, I take two of the sturdiest looking sticks and begin to rub them together like they do on TV. Here I am, rubbing a bunch of... and, of course, nothing's happening. They're getting kind of warm, but they won't rub right. Not enough friction, I think. I grit my teeth, letting my heavy tail flop down in the soil behind me. I don't even care if it gets dirty now. The pads of my paws are starting to really hurt, so I bite the inside of my cheek. I look down at the pile of twigs and I think I see a spark. I quicken the rubbing, only for the twig to slip and scrape along the edge of my paw. I cry out in pain as a thin line of blood appears on my fur. Nyeh. I inhale sharply. This is so stupid. I hate this. I throw the sticks down and cover my face with my paws sucking on my cut. What am I doing? God. What am I supposed to do? I rocked myself back and forth slowly, remembering what the school counselor told me. Imagine these feelings as a physical thing that you can hold. Then take deep breaths and begin to rip these feelings apart as if they were a piece of paper that you didn't want anymore. Finally, imagine a calm place, a happy place, somewhere you can be alone and at peace. I sniff, making little ripping motions and closing my eyes. Holy shit, I've won the fight! People in the crowd can't believe it. I look across the sea of faces, they all hate me. Well, maybe not all. I know there's one in this crowd who doesn't. I see him in the back, where he usually likes to be. Oh shit, it's all dark now. Dad's still standing there, his eyes puffy. Dad, please. You were right. For once. I swallow back a blubbering sob, wiping snot from my muzzle. It's been so long, I can't take this anymore. Stop it! Things used to be different, He inhales raggedly, tugging at the end of his facial scruff with one free paw. I used to feel things in real time. Now it's all like a memory of a thing. He continues to stare at the van. Like this isn't happening. It happened. It will happen. I don't know. It don't matter. I feel his paw tug tighter on the rifle. No, please stop! I pull back on my end of it. You know you can't stop me. I love you, please stop it! He's not even crying, he's just standing there, only turning to look at me whenever he pulls the barrel of the gun closer to his chin. Yeah, they had to rewrite this scene to make it more apparent. I wish I was stronger, I really, really wish. Thought I could move away. Forget it ever happened. Move on, find redemption in the Lord. It's never that simple, is it? I don't know what you're talking about! My voice is shrill and hoarse at this point. Sometimes I can't even speak. I want to call out for help, but there's no one around. But Eliza had to move back here, and I loved her. So I had to grin and bear it, as they say. He wets his lips. I can't. He rolls his eyes in a strange, exaggerated fashion. Any time I try to escape, be it physical-like or through some other such diversions, it all just keeps coming back to me. Just going in circles. I begin sobbing on his pant leg, clinging to it as I pull as hard on as I can on the gun. It's never enough. He won't let go. Let's just go home, okay? Please, let's go home. I'm sorry. Dad says nothing. Something stirs from within the back of the van. Even with my vision blurred with tears, it's clearer than it was before. It's a face. Dad begins to move again, bringing the rifle end up to his chin. Oh boy! I grab Dad's paw, trying to pull his fingers away from the trigger. I yank as hard as I can. No eyes. No eyes. What's happening? Holy shit! Did you see that? Look at the back window of the van. Find him. What the fuck was that? Find him. Hey, is there any more of that oatmeal you bought left? Jay stands beside the bed, peering down at me. Oh no, were you asleep? I blink. Chase, I'm so sorry. You were moving around so much, I didn't know. Chase. Right. What does that mean? It's okay, TJ. I push myself up, feeling the bedsheet sticking to the back of my fur. My shirt is drenched and I smell awful. Are you okay? A concerned look crosses the Lynx's face. I'm not sure how to respond. I'll get some water. He smiles at me in that eerily genuine way he does. He turns and walks to the sink. There's a subtle sound of too loud oldies music coming from behind me, the suite next door. Sunlight peeks into the beige drapery, but everything outside is just a pale glow. I can't gauge what time it is. I try to move my paw. It's slow to react. Every piece of my body is tingling with this sort of damp vibration. Sleep paralysis? But I'm awake, and I moved just a second ago. Maybe I'm just dehydrated. I blink again, and little floaties dance in front of my eyes. Blobs, swirls, and smiley faces that flee whenever my gaze chases them. I let out a long exhale through my nostril and shift my weight to my tail behind me. Today is Saturday. Oh, lordy. Today is the day. And isn't it beautiful today? Did I say that out loud? He holds the polystyrene cup directly in front of my muzzle. I can smell it. The water. Way too mineralized, like a foggy calcium broth. But the calcium can't hurt you, it's just bones. Like a clockwork automation, I feel my arm jerk and arise, grasping the cup and bringing the contents to my lips. I finish it in 3 swallows. Water. It's been so long since I swam, and I'm starting to really feel the need for it. Air is fine, but it's just nothing. Water is something. It's got pressure, it hugs you as you move through it. Nobody understands that like we do, I guess. I realize TJ's still staring at me, and I give him a look. Another smile, this one more sheepish. With a small grunt, I manage to throw my legs out from under the cover, my feet touching the firm carpet beneath. Rub the sleep from my eyes. I slept like 11 hours. Why do I feel like this? Looking around, I notice that the bed next to me is empty. Where's Jenna? My voice comes out higher. Where's Jenna? Than I intended, and I quickly clear my throat. She went out. I'm not sure exactly where. Ooh, Saturday's a bad day to go out by yourself. I stare at him, my eyes still only half open. We were supposed to go hiking. I'm sure she'll be back soon. Why do you want to hike so much? What? TJ frowns. You grew up here and you hiked all the time as a kid. Shouldn't you be sick of it by now? The Lynx dips his paws into his pockets, his lips pursing as he hesitates his response. Well, my parents didn't want me going out too far or anywhere too dangerous. There's still a lot of trails I haven't been on. This is Echo. You can see everything around you for miles. There's not much surprise when you can see the entire trail. Like going through a forest or a big mountain. I can understand some of the appeal, but not this. Sort of raise my arms and gesture to everything and nothing at the same time. TJ, meanwhile, just shakes his head. I think I understand what you mean, Chase, but hiking isn't about being surprised. So what if you can see what's coming? It's what happens when you're there that matters. TJ smiles again, with that same youth pastor-esque vigor. I can tell it's genuine, but there's always that feeling that I get that there's something going on behind those blue eyes that's not right. Growing up, I always chalked it up to his unwaveringly hypocritical dogma in contrast to my whole liking dicks thing, but now I don't know. It was never enough to bother me too much, but I'm starting to wonder if this is what Flynn sees, too. Jen ate the last of the oatmeal.
Aww. I guess I'll stop by the diner again, then. I wanted to check up on Janice anyway. What are you gonna have?
I don't know, I'm not usually the breakfast type. When I wake up, everything in my mouth just tastes gross and it kills my appetite.
Oh, yes, I understand.
TJ nods, turning to move back to the mini fridge. He opens it, staring inside as if looking hard enough would make a fruit parfait appear. That being said, I'm starting to miss the student union food court, something fierce. I think you hear TJ chuckle a little.
You would really like our campus's cafeteria. We've got a cereal bar with around 25 different types of cereal to choose from. You can even make your own protein bars and that sort of thing. It's really cool.
That actually sounds pretty good, even though my palate sort of tastes like a mix of sawdust and barf right now. Lynx pulls out a wrapped rice treat, peering at it with a squinty expression.
That's a creative way of describing that.
I'm almost not hungry anymore. He holds up the treat, the blue foil catching the window light in a bit of a curious way.
I'm not sure why this is in the fridge.
I just threw the whole bag of stuff I picked up at the convenience store in there.
Would you like this?
Yeah, sure, I'll take it. TJ nods, tossing the treat in a gentle arc my way. I almost catch it. Ow. I rub the end of my snout as TJ looks at me wide-eyed.
Oh, criminy!
That's not criminy, that's crimey.
Who says crimey? Crimey, that hit you square, Chase. I'm sorry.
It's okay, I'm still waking up, I guess. I begin unwrapping the foil packaging. I'm gonna eat this and shower, okay?
Not at the same time, right?
No.
Okay, good. Just making sure I didn't hit you too hard.
Another sheepish smile. I manage one in return this time. I take a bite of the treat, and to my surprise, it's actually pretty okay, cold. After a moment, I notice the little blue light flashing on my phone. New message. A pang of guilt sets in as I realize my first thought is, please don't be Leo. Carl. Hope your camera's okay. I sigh. It's not. I scroll down and notice a message below it. Come over? Shit, Carl's interview's today, isn't it? I don't want to be bumming him out too much. It's fine. I pause. I'll be over soon. Aren't you supposed to go on a hike, though? What are you doing? There. I set the phone back down on the nightstand and tossed the treat wrapper into the bin beside the bed. TJ glances up at me momentarily. He's also looking at his phone. Carl's got a job interview up in Peyton today. TJ looks up from his phone, grinning.
Wow, that's really great. I still remember when he worked at the market shop we used to have on Elizabeth Street. Where's this one at?
Print shop, I think? I don't know. Carl seemed kind of hesitant to talk about it.
Oh. Well, tell him that I wish him good luck, and that it's always really important that you smile. If you look like you're happy and excited, then the interviewers might get that way too.
It's infectious, right?
Right.
I've gotten literally all my jobs because my parents were friends with somebody who was hiring. I suppose I never really had to worry about interviewing. A noise comes from outside, the sound of jingling keys and the door being unlocked.
So the police finally showed up.
Jenna steps inside, giving me a bit of a curious look over when she notices I'm still in my sleepwear.
Are they gonna do anything?
I doubt it. She strides across the room, grabbing a bottle of water from the mini fridge.
Why is that?
The cops seemed more suspicious of me than anything. They asked if I was on any illicit substances. Jesus. Guess they're not used to seeing people our age around here that aren't. I think it was more of an anti-native sentiment than anything.
Really?
Yes. Jenna looks back at me. Chase, you really should shower. I blink. What? I noticed when I walked in. This whole room has your oily musk scent. It's not very flattering. I frowned deeply, covering my armpits and pushing my tail back over my behind. Alright. I was going to anyway. I rise to a stand before moving to the bathroom. TJ gives me a sympathetic look as I pass. I shut the door behind me after stepping inside. With a few quick tugs, I remove my shirt and underwear and then place them on the edge of the counter. At home, I just throw them on the floor, but I don't really trust how clean the linoleum is here. I step into the shower. It gets hot quick, so I fiddle with the handle some. There's some gray fur tucked in the corner, so I'm guessing TJ took one this morning. I bend down and pick up the tiny complimentary shampoo bottle from the rack and begin to lather the contents into my fur. It's not exactly the best for my type of fur, but it'll work for now. Though, I still can't shake the feeling that I have cigarette smoke baked into my pores. You know, in comparison to the communal dorm showers, this is actually kind of nice. Contrary to what many may think, they're not as sexy as porn makes you believe. I begin lathering further down. I usually rub one out during the shower time. Though at the moment, I'm pretty devoid of those feelings. Ever since I got here, back to Echo, I've felt more detached from everything than I usually do. Like all this stuff is going on around me and I'm just here. When I woke up this morning, it was as if I wasn't sure what was the dream and what was real. I don't even recall what the dream was about. TJ distracted me before I could really archive it, or however it works with remembering dreams. There was a feeling of sorrow, fear, helplessness, and then all of a sudden, agency. It's familiar, but I don't know why. Like strange nostalgia without the red and rose-tinted happiness. Dudes, I don't know about this. I peek into the bathroom, watching as Carl stares at himself in the mirror, running his fingers through his hair. I'm sure you'll look fine. Easy for you to say, you can't even grow hair. Carl sets the trimmer down, running his fingers through his beard. You tell him, Chase. Carl looks at me and I have to agree that he looks quite a bit better. You look fantastic, a lot cleaner. Thanks. Now you might want to get the gamer stink off of you. You smell like JRPGs and energy drinks. I find myself snickering, though Carl doesn't look anywhere near a point of laughter. He just quietly shuts the door in my face. So, Chase, didn't expect I'd see you again. I look over at Daxton, who's been standing beside the bathroom door with his arms crossed. Neither did I. Carl asked me to come over, so I did. Daxton nods. Do you think he's got this? Haven't known Carl long enough to say, really. I hope he does. Can't help but thinking a lot of things could go wrong, you know? Carl doesn't get out much. It's weird thinking about the future like that, isn't it? I cock my head some in the amphibian's direction. What do you mean? The infinite possibilities of things that can happen. So expect the worst? With an infinite number of timelines, there's no such thing as a worst-case scenario. Just an infinite number of varying shades of bad. Do you actually believe that? He clicks his tongue, waving his hand dismissively. No, it was an episode of Adastra, which is a game now! Yeah. Daxton perks a furless brow towards me at the sound of the front door opening. We turn and make our way towards the entrance hall. Next to the kitchen, it's gonna be Flynn. The familiar, heavy footsteps are a dead giveaway of who's there. It's gonna be Flynn. Didn't know job interviews were a fucking group event. It's Flynn! Ooh, another thing of new music. Flynn's tall form meanders in, carrying a few Tupperware containers and a plastic bag. He doesn't look at either of us. Well, we wanted to be here, and I didn't have anything else going on. He wanted us to be here. He's in the shower now. I fidget with the inside of my pockets, trying to look nonchalant. Daxton's big blue eyes dart from me to Flynn and back again. I have to go pee and something. I'll be right back. Flynn's mouth twitches as if he's about to call Daxton back, but relents. Instead, he sets the bag on the kitchen island and begins rifling through it. His large tail twitches and he furrows his brow, seemingly trying really hard to concentrate on whatever he's doing. Which, as I look closer, is essentially just rearranging the Tupperware in the bag over and over. Flynn... He stops. He shifts his gaze towards me, and I'm at a loss of what to say. Part of me wants to call him a fucking weird hypocritical asshole. The other part, well, I'm not really sure about the other part yet. If I just broach the topic of Chase, none of this shit matters. He gestures between us. I'm not gonna try to speak cryptic to you here about feelings and shit. I just need to know you're gonna keep your promise, okay? He's frowning down at me, and his expression is more uneasy than outright stern. Flynn, fuck! His fist hits the countertop, and next thing I know, he's moving around the kitchen and grabbing paper towels. The lasagna's goddamn leaking everywhere! It's like a fucking menstrual pad in there. Why'd you bring lasagna? Because lard-ass needs to eat something besides pizza and self-hatred for a change. As opposed to you who eats salads and self-hatred? Shut the fuck up. At least I have a self. What's that supposed to mean? What was that supposed to mean? Flynn doesn't respond, a Gila busy with stacking paper towels underneath the bag before shoving it in the fridge. You hear the sound of hooves on floorboards and turn around. Carl had shuffled into the living room so quietly we didn't even notice. There he is, with his shaved beard and everything. So, how's it look? He looks good, but I'm more concerned with the fact that he looks more insecure than I've ever seen him. He shifts from hoof to hoof, not making eye contact at all, his fingers pulling at the rolled-up sleeves. Very nice. You kind of look like you're pledging Alpha Lambda, but it works. What? Carl looks at me and I give a start, realizing how bad my silence must have seemed. You do look great, Carl. But, Nexton chuckles and Carl's eyes widen. What? The beanie. Do you always wear that thing? Carl lifts a paw to it. Usually. You can't wear that. How'd you even get it on? It's stretchy, and my head fur looks awful. Seriously, you can't wear a beanie to an interview. Carl's getting all fidgety again, so Flynn butts in. Don't wear it. Oh, come on! He looks sad and angry at the same time, which gives me pause. You gotta work with your shirt half off. I'll wear it if I want. This is my interview. Usually Flynn would banter back, calling Carl a stupid dumbass or something of that nature, but he says nothing. After a couple of seconds of silence, Daxton coughs. Daxton looks at me, then back to Carl. Well, I reckon that's alright. Carl sighs and shifts around again. We watch him expectantly. Dudes, this feels weird is all. It's new. You'll get used to it. I pull out my phone to look at the time. Alright, we really need to head out. We should get there early. As we head to the door, Daxton makes as if to follow us. Flynn turns around to face him as Carl heads out the door. Hey, Dax. He stops. What? After the interview, me, Chase, and some of our other friends, we're gonna be doing something. Wait, is Carl on board with this plan too? Daxton raises a brow. Oh. So could you fuck off for a bit? Jesus, Flynn. Part of me wouldn't mind a guy like with Daxton's attitude present at what will surely be the biggest downer of the week. And to keep Flynn in check. Daxton doesn't budge, giving Flynn an indiscernible look. After a while, Flynn just sighs, rubbing his brow. It's gotta do with personal shit. Oh, really? See, why didn't you just say that? You wouldn't want to come. There's gonna be some heavy shit. Are you the heavy shit in question? Flynn says nothing. After a moment, Daxton just exhales and shakes his head. Just let me know how the interview goes. As the salamander passes me, he speaks in a hushed tone. You deserve better, man. I look down on my feet before heading out to the car. You don't. Oh, shit, bruh. Carl still looks confused after Flynn and I come out to the car without Daxton.
Where's Dude Man?
I make a show of buckling my seatbelt. We'll talk about it after your interview.
What? He's not coming? He's the guy who knows the guy who runs the place.
Yeah, well, you weren't gonna be bringing him inside with you anyway. Carl stares at the dashboard as I back out, pretending to be distracted so I can muster up something reassuring. You know, Carl, you should talk about some of your art while you're in there. I hear it's good to look like you have a passion, especially one that's tangentially related to what you do. To be honest, I have no clue what sorts of skills you need at a print shop. I look at my rearview mirror at the Ram, who's still isn't saying anything. Hopefully, not many. Oh, shit. By the way, Flynn. Flynn's nostrils flare as if he's bracing himself. The big lizard had to back his seat all the way to the back to give himself enough legroom to sit in my tiny sedan. I need to stop by City Hall before we do the thing. Why? He responds with a wary dryness. I need to scan some photos to my thumb drive. I forgot to do it when I was there last. I know where everything I need is. Shouldn't take more than 10 minutes. Yeah, okay, I got my key card in my wallet. Flynn scratches his groin idly, looking at the window as we pass the diner. Kinda surprised he didn't protest more. Carl stays quiet as we drive through the rest of Echo, and I swerve to avoid all the potholes. As I'm merging onto the highway, Flynn speaks up. I cooked you some shit to celebrate you joining the workforce and such. Fancy-ass organic store ramen with this spiced sausage stuff and lasagna. Same recipe that my uncle used.
That's, premature, right?
If there's a food reward waiting for you, your fat ass can do anything. I resist the urge to nod in agreement.
Hope you're right.
We fall back into silence, and it stays that way for the remaining 20-minute drive. Carl gets more nervous the closer we get. I can see his knees bouncing in the corner of my eye as he stares out the window. Flynn reaches back and puts a hand on his knee as we pull into the parking lot of the print shop. Gila mutters something to the Ram. I can't make any of it out. You look awesome and you're gonna do amazing. Carl starts taking deep breaths, staring out the windshield. Just be yourself. Everyone loves a relaxed employee.
I wish you'd let me have a smoke before we left.
Yeah, go into an interview smelling like pot. Great idea. Carl giggles nervously, but otherwise doesn't move. Do you want us to go in with you? Carl shakes his head quickly, unbuckling his seatbelt as he opens the car door.
Oh man, I'll be fine.
Okay, cool. I'll be waiting. He looks to Flynn, who just gives him a little nod. I grin at him, and he just shuts the door and ambles up to the print shop. He pushes on the doors, and when they don't move, he pushes harder, shaking the glass. I start to open my door to tell him to pull. Instead, but he seems to figure it out before I have to and disappears inside. Oh, Carl. Fucking hell. I look over and Flynn has his palms over his face. I sigh, leaning my seat back. Try to take a nap, since it feels like I haven't slept in ages. Though the heat beating down through the windows starts to become too uncomfortable, turn the AC back on, then shuffle through the stations only to find twangy country and mariachi. Look at the time. 10:10 a.m. If the interview started on time, then he was probably almost done with it by now. Sort of want to go inside, but I know Carl wouldn't want me to. I settle back and close my eyes, trying to get some relief from the failing AC. Then the door rattles and I hear haphazard hoofsteps. I open my eyes, but no one's there. Flynn doesn't seem to have noticed, his own eyes closed. I do catch some movement disappearing around the side of the store, and I lean around to get a better look. I wait, but Carl, at least I think it's Carl, doesn't come back from around the corner. Looking around, I slowly open my door. Carl? Flynn awakens with a start, looking around some. You out yet? Nothing. Carl! I yell it, but he still doesn't come out. Feeling some dread build up in my stomach, I get out of the car and slowly walk around the side of the building. Flynn joins me. The hell's going on? It's an alley between the print shop and what I think is a laundromat. Nothing is in the alley except a few dumpsters and clumps of garbage. I step carefully around the puddles covered in oil slick and wonder if maybe he just really wanted to smoke. Carl? Something shifts on the other side of one of the dumpsters and I hear sniffling. Wordlessly, I walk around the dumpster to the other side. Carl is bent over, his back to me, paws on his knees. His whole body is shaking and his breaths are ragged. Holy shit, Carl! Before I can do anything, Flynn's at his side. You okay, man? What happened? The stench of vomit hits my nose, and I don't need to look closely to know what the puddle between Carl's hooves is. Carl makes sure to turn his face away from us, not saying a word. Shit. I dash back to the car and open the passenger door so I can get to the glove box. Pull out a few napkins before hurrying back to the Ram. When I return, Flynn is quietly rubbing his back. He takes them from me wordlessly and starts wiping his face. The last time I'd seen Carl like this was last year when he had his panic attack at school. I didn't think he'd have that problem now after the therapy and time away. I feel kind of useless just standing there watching him. He's at least not hyperventilating. The Ram has his horns pushed up against the wall, taking deep breaths as he wipes his face again.
Why do I suck at everything?
He says it quietly, sorry, between gasps, but I can make it out. Not everything. Come on, let's go. He starts to pull on his arm, but he yanks it back from him violently.
Don't touch me!
Flynn and I are stunned into silence. I just stare at him, mouth open. He glances at me and his eyes are red, and for once, it's not because of weed. Carl starts off towards the car on his own, spitting off to the side as he does. Carl, what happened? He whirls on me.
I fucked up, obviously. Any more fucking questions?
A few, yeah. His voice breaks apart in the last sentence as he turns away from us as his face starts to screw up. My stomach feels hollow as I watch Carl get into my car. I've never, ever seen him like this. He immediately hunches forward behind the driver's seat, head in his paws. I slowly walk up to the driver's side door, feeling like shit myself. Flynn joins me. The Gila tugs at the scales around his chin, teeth grit. His expression is just bizarre, like intermittent smiling in between almost nauseous-looking face contortions. Fuck! We sit for a while waiting to see if Carl is going to say anything. He does.
I'm sorry.
He blurts it out through his fingers. I look over at him, scared to say anything in case I say the wrong thing.
It was a disaster, dudes.
He takes in a deep, shuddering breath.
You could tell I wasn't into it right away. I was awkward as fuck.
He leans back and tugs at his shirt.
This isn't me, and I knew it, and it got me nervous. I've been nervous ever since I got my clothes, since I got this stupid trim.
We sit in silence for a long, long time until Carl looks at me and smiles.
God damn it, we all knew this was gonna happen, right? Just like at Pueblo with you, Chase, with your uncle, and with your Uncle Flynn. I'm just a fuck up.
Nah, this is my fault, man. I told you I was gonna coach you, and I never got around to it. And I'm the tit dirt who made Dak stay behind. Maybe he could have helped? I don't fucking know. Gila takes in a seething breath. You can't be expected to go into this shit blind and spit out exactly what some mid-level manager like Skyle wants to hear. World's fucked like that and just banging walls sometimes.
No, dude, I'm the one that screwed up in the interview.
Carl settles back in his seat.
Now that fuck up out of the way.
I sigh, looking at the hazy horizon in the direction where Echo is. On to the next. None of this fucking matters, Carl. Don't worry. Flynn gives me a look, then closes his eyes. So with that, I turn on the ignition and pull out of the parking lot, leaving the print shop and the alley far, far behind us. To be continued. God, the first part of fucking Saturday of Flynn's route is there, and goddamn.